All right, fam. I had to go out and come back in. I don't I don't know why I did that. Um, you should be able to see me now. Let me see something. Can you see? So can you see me? Even with the new restream back up? Okay. Kim says she see me. You probably had to go out and come back in again. She okay. All right. Um. All right. I think I'm back right, Johnny. You might have to sign back out and come back in again. Okay. I don't know what happened when I tried to share that, but it's like I lost everybody. Um. Okay. So where I was going at, what we was ending with was the Hannah Jones stealing ADOS information. Um. So I don't know what happened when I tried to share it again, but I think it took the picture. It don't normally do that. I must hit something unexpected. But so what I'm doing tonight is it's connecting those dots to all this talk of hustling and the flow concept that hold up, some people saying they can't see me. Y'all can see me, right? In the chat. Okay, Kimberly can see me. Let's see. Hold on a minute. Let me do something here. Let's see here. Let's send this back like this here. Let's see here. Okay. So I think I'm good. Okay. So everybody getting back on now. All right. So all right. All right. We back good. We back good. All right. So it made me not want to share the daggone screen no more. So the next person I want to talk about, cause we know and understand Nahana Cole. Miss Jones don't understand a whole lot. She's out of the loop because she only came in the loop to try to steal information. You come into something trying to steal something that you won't build anchored in, of course you get everything wrong. We understand that, we know it. Um, so what we gonna do tonight is to show you how other people also have plundered us this information and tried it. And you talking about good stuff that do this to you. They do this to you. That's exactly right. They try to come in and be the face so they can drain all the energy out of our fight. This this has happened all through history in the ADOS fight, where people have came in and tried to just walk in the room, suck all the air out of the room, and then the real fight don't never happen. So what we must do is protect our movements. We must remain the voice, not celebrities, not the people that the white supremacy send to be the force. We must stay the voice. We heard a lot about the anti-Asian hate bill. And once again, I'm still sticking to the narrative. taking the flow out of hustling. ADOS will not be politically pimped by no one. Understand that Jeezy, and a lot of us, we listen to Jeezy, his music, Young Jeezy. But what a lot of us don't understand is Young Jeezy's wife is Asian. So many shouldn't find it shocking that while he made music destroying the black ADOS community with telling them to disrespect the ADOS woman, with teaching young men to disrespect ADOS women, to kill other ADOS men in the street in cold blood, and to get that bag by any means necessary. And don't worry about other niggas, in the words of Jeezy. Even in his lyrics sometimes claiming that he liked the white girl. Some would think it was coke. Maybe deep down inside he liked the actual human white girl because he got the Asian, the closest thing to him. Because here at ADOS, we know that Asians have been made white in this country that ADOS people built. I said again, Asians been made white in the country that ADOS people built. Now, Jeezy married That's the right one. Can y'all hear me now? Oh, what happened to my sound? Let me know if any you can hear me now. Okay. I don't know why that sound went away. Because it was already on. I just took it off and put it back on. So, I don't know. It's something wicked going on. All right. Now, um, so what I was saying is Jeezy, he advocated for the anti-Asian hate bill. He actually raised money during his wedding to an Asian woman. Now, go see can you find anywhere where young Jeezy has advocated for reparations for American descendants of slaves, even though he is an American descendant of slavery. But he did write music that destroyed and helped lock up millions of ADOS men, yet not once advocating for them to be made whole. That's what we dealing with here. A lot of hustling going on, but no real flow for ADOS people to get critical justice. We allow people in these spaces and we lift these people to heights to put them in the space, and yet they don't advocate for us. They go over. And that's why I think, to me personally, we got to have a real conversation about interracial dating. Some people say it don't matter. I'm against it don't matter. I think it do matter. I think it do matter, and I think it do play on your political standpoint. Because in all relationships, somebody going to be the strong one, somebody going to be the weak one. Somebody going to lead somebody another way. Even down to the 6 or 7 people, the black women, some call ADOS women, supposed that Joe Biden is supposed to be nominating from. 5 of those women are married to white men. Is it a coincidence that all 5 of those black women that's married to white men have protected white supremacy in the courts? I'm talking about white men that have murdered people, that got Nazi tattoos. They have defended them. So if we gonna connect the dots, what is making these black women so advocate to protect white racists? You see, if we ain't gonna have this conversation, this also could stand in the way of our freedom fight. In the chat, when black are outside of our lineage, we see strange things happening to their advocacy. This is very true. We see strange things happening to their advocacy. Why do you think we see those strange things? See, it's because when understand relationships, when people say if one loves oneself, he looks out or she looks out for that same love. When they look out, they looking for themselves. When you step outside of, and we understand that race was built by white supremacy. That ain't what we getting at. We know that race was built here in America to plunder and make ADOS people a bottom caste group. That we know without a shadow of a doubt. We know that. But we got to deal with the circumstances of what America has built here when it do come to race and lineage. They have built something that you could almost look at when people marry outside of race, a form of escapism to escape from the suffering of being ADOS in this country. what I mean. When these black women are being propped up by white institutions to be able to go to, now understand, it been some ADOS men that have paved the way for some black women to be standing that got to go to college. Because some of their daddies, their brothers that didn't get to go to college worked on farms and gave the money to them to go to school. And the way you pay them back is you go marry a white man. You didn't go look for those strong black men that help you get to where you are. See, we got to see this. As Nick has said here, this is an interesting point, bro. I think a lot of those people use these relationships as a way to escape hatch of this 8 hours life. This is exactly what's happening. You can see it in their politics, their political stance. They standing up for who they married. We may have thought one time in life that it was okay to go outside. But what we are seeing is a pattern of people that step outside of their race and say they start advocating for where they tried to. This is the truth, as Johnny puts it. And we got to talk about it because this will also be a challenge that ADOS face. And when I say a challenge it face, you know, my attitude is real warrior attitude because I believe it's always a war going on. Just different styles of war. Like I tell people all the time, you think you need to see a tank or a rocket launcher to know you're at a war? Not here in America, not for ADOS. It's a war when you got more ADOS men in prison than all race of women in the world. It's a war when over 53% of your group is homeless. It's a war when 16% of our people go to college, yet 80% can't find jobs when they get out. It's a war when women got more debt in the country than anybody. It's a war when black women get paid less with a degree than anybody. It's a war when black women make or has more debt in the country than anybody. It's a war when white supremacy can manipulate her and make her think she's everything they've been looking for, while at the same time killing off her son. I say it again. It's a war when white supremacy can manipulate her while killing off her son, her daddy, her uncle, her brother. And she still goes and marries a white man. Now we know that black women ain't the only ones doing it. But the reason it's so glorified when you see black women doing it, because they putting black women, a lot of people making demands for black women to be in powerful places. I read an article the other day, and the article was talking about black women judges, ADOS women judges, locking up just as many ADOS men as white judges. And then when you go look at some of these black women judges, who they married to? Anybody can guess? Can anybody guess? Married to white men. And then you see them. And then you see them. What they do when they in front of a white male that done broke the law. It's this grace of forgiveness. He need another chance. We got to talk about these relationships. Hands down, they do carry an effect. And there's no denying it. So just asking for a black woman Supreme Court judge ain't going to be enough if she don't know she need to be anchored in this ADOS life. It ain't enough. And I don't care what you say. It's a form of escaping. Listen, if a child that's had by a black woman and a white man can have access to whiteness, don't that woman that marries that white man has access to whiteness? I mean, we got to connect the dots to it. She has the same access. Prime example. Prime. That's exactly right. We don't need symbolism at all. We need people anchored in their lineage. We need people anchored in their lineage without a shadow of a doubt. This moment in this country is too severe for us to settle for anything less. You got Jesus that sold that millions of us bought his music, not advocating for reparations for us, but advocating for policies for his wife, which is Asian, not ADOS. And yet, we still support him. And what do he do when he make a video? He come to the streets and get blacks, ADOS people, that bounce and jump around with shirts off, disrespecting themselves, degrading themselves, and go back home to his Asian wife and put on a suit, dress up real nice to take her out on the town with the money that he just raked up from poor ADOS people. We got to get serious, people. We got to get to where we holding the fire to these people. And this is true. Jesus selling us dope still. See? And we allowing him to sell us dope still. When do we wake up and realize that he's a problem and other people like him is a problem? See, I listened to a man say, if you can create one that teach another ADOS man to kill another one through entertainment, it'll be accepted. If we don't hold Jesus accountable for teaching black men to kill other black men while he marries an Asian woman and advocate for them, it's on us. Jesus shouldn't be allowed to walk in a black community without a rock being thrown and running him out of the community. That's real talk. It's real talk. You was part of destroying our communities. Now you won't advocate to fix them, but you will advocate to fix your wife community? Come on, man. This is, come on. We talking about hustling. Jesus sold us on hustling. Everybody listen to it. I'm a hustler. He advocated us to hustle ourselves to death. But now he advocating for Asians to get government help. But still making music telling us to go hustle. And in the process, kill a nigga while you with it. Kill another ADOS brother while you at it. See, too many people gauge success by money. We think they have no matter how they attain it. This is true. And you got to be able to see these people. Because these are the people that they put out in front of you to lead you to the slaughter. Listen, William J. Dickens, they ain't gonna want you to listen to me. Yvette Cornell, they ain't gonna want you listening to her. Antonio Moore, they're not gonna want you listening to him. Because they know they ain't gonna lead you to the slaughter. They need you to listen to Jesus so he can lead you to the slaughter. As Nick said, yeah, we got to know when to be done with these celebrities. Hands down, we got to know when to be done with them. So, we also want to talk about the young lady that did that Cadillac commercial. Miss Mallard. Tamika Mallard. She's saying now that she holds black. I want to share that article with you, but Johnny, post it in the chat for me because I don't want to share my screen because I'm scared I might lose it again. She made the statement that she holds black women at a higher accountability than she do other women. While she take deals with Cadillac, while she done went from advocating to getting paid, once again have used ADOS men dead bodies as a stepping stone to her own success. This is why we got to take the flow out of hustle. Hey, this is definitely true right here. This is why we got to take the flow out of hustling. And only ADOS advocacy is doing it. Here, ADOS advocacy is the only place doing it. Breaking the middle chain, tone and event. We advocate for collective. We calling out anything that do not advocate for collective. The hustling is done. People are now living in this country off of inheritance. If you haven't figured that out yet, you've also been paying attention to the wrong people. Maybe you better stop listening to Jeezy. You see? Because maybe that's the problem. We got to get on code on policies. We must get on track and see these things. If you didn't know that Jesus was advocating for his Asian wife, while he done all this destruction to the ADOS community, yet advocate for reparations. Matter of fact, I bet if a camera got in his face and asked him what kind of advocacy he's gonna do for the ADOS community on reparations, he'll say, I ain't doing shit. They don't, hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that. But he don't say that when it comes to his wife. And what he'll do to the ADOS community is he'll go carry some turkeys during Thanksgiving. He will carry them some turkeys during Thanksgiving. Yet, and say, I did something for the black community. When are we going to realize turkeys can't feed you for a lifetime? And reparations will feed not only you for a lifetime, but your kids and their kids for a lifetime. Not somebody coming and giving you a turkey. You demand of that person to fight for you for politics, for policies that will feed you for a lifetime. Stop taking crumbs and accepting it as the piece of sympathy. This is very true. My president is black. Ain't it something? He even accepted Obama that led to black people wealth dropping 34% under his presidency. Millions of black people lost their homes. But he told you your president was black. He didn't tell you that you do not have the same lineage because he don't know enough to know it neither. This is why we must critique everything. This is why this war that we face and deal with is going to be the war that critical thinkers are going to win. If you don't know and understand that, you've been paying attention to the wrong thing. You've been paying attention to the wrong thing. This is how Tamara Marley can do what she's doing. You can accept her going to get that Cadillac contract because we hooked on hustling. And we can't see the difference. Financial literacy and personal responsibility nonsense. That's exactly what he would do. That's exactly what he would do. We let these people tell us politics don't matter while telling you to go vote and telling you your president black. Well, politics don't matter. Why are you sitting at the table with Joe Biden on an anti-Asian hate bill? Jesus. It don't make no sense to me. If politics don't matter, why are you at the table with him on that anti-Asian hate bill? Must be politics matter. Must be that you spitting in black in ADOS people's face telling Basically saying they too dumb to understand it. So they don't understand. I can do what I want to. Here we go. In a Cadillac campaign, isn't shy about her attribute backlash to another institution. See, this, what we got to come to terms with. She also, Myler is also saying black people too dumb to see my hustle move anyway. Because we didn't use this word, allowed this word of hustling to kind of melt into our group, into the format of making money with no understanding that they don't go together. I'm not here to hustle my people out of anything. I'm here to educate my people in everything. I'm here for collective uplift, not individual. This is the only way we win. See, just like that seems to be a format advocacy for everyone else but blacks. ADOS people have to bootstrap it. See, is it something that they understand it when it comes to his wife's success in this country, but he don't understand it when it comes to his mother's success in this country? Understand the only reason that Young Jesus stands an ADOS man, the only reason that Tamala she stands as a black woman in this country, the only reason Hannah Jones stands as a black woman in this country is through their ADOS parents. Yet they don't even advocate for them. That's how rotten they are. Because advocating against me is advocating against your own family. And if you ain't figured that out yet, you really done lost it. If you ain't figured that out yet, you really done lost it. That format since the 70s. You right. And that format don't work. We know and understand that it don't work. When you got ADOS people in these spaces that don't understand, speaking against William Dickens, being a grassroots part of ADOS, speaking against your own family. But you don't care. Because if that gets you the bag, because you hustling, you ain't advocating. You hustling. You ain't advocating. You don't care. Bougie folks who are in power won't say anything. They're grifting. Hey, if you ain't going to hold them accountable, that's the grift. If you ain't going to push back against people that stand in the way of ADOS getting what they need to survive here, you done pick your side. So I say it's time we pick our side. It's time to say, I don't care what your name is. I don't care how many followers you got. I will challenge the very foundation that this country is built on for the freedom of my people. That's the attitude you got to have. And that's the kind of protection our group is going to need. Because that's the kind of fight we in. Bougie folks want to be. Ain't that something? This is the pattern in our group. And this was birthed out of hustling. This was birthed out of hustling. That's why I say we got to take the flow out of hustling. ADOS people will no longer be political pimped. We must start to look at everything through the eyes of politics because it all ties back in to politics. Like it or not, it all ties back into politics. And we need to be able to connect the dots in those conversations, how and why it ties back into politics. Why is it that Young Jesus can advocate for his wife group, but not for his own mama group? I said again, why is it that young Jesus could advocate for his wife group, but not advocate for his mama group? We got to understand what we're looking at. That's why I think we got to look at who these people get in relationships with. Because if you don't care enough to advocate for your own mama, I already know you a piece of shit. And I can't say it no different. I mean, at that point, what else can it be said about you? You made music destroying your mama's family. But you ain't going to advocate to fix it. You ain't going to talk about reparations with Joe Biden. You ain't going to put pressure on Joe Biden to do reparation. Put a lot of pressure on him. You put a lot of pressure on him to lock us up. I guess that you sat down with him. You was one of a kind. It all ties back into politics. The conversation is all politics. I hate my show went out, the sound went out, and I wanted to share those articles, but Johnny posted them in the chat. I won't, if you don't get nothing else from this show tonight, I want you to take from the title of the show. You're gonna meet millions of hustlers along the way. You will meet very few collective uplift people. That means they fight for the collective. It means that they don't want something for themselves that don't benefit the collective of their group. If you're talking to someone, listening to someone that ain't talking about the collective, that is talking about the individual self, know that that person problem. Know that that person means you no good. See, if you paying attention, spending hours listening and following people that don't move the line forward for you to be able to pay your bills in your house, and understand why I say you got to put this kind of pressure on these people. Because without a shadow of a doubt, if you are ADOS, American descendants of slaves, you are owed a debt directly from the richest, one of the richest nations in the world. And if anybody you listening to and following ain't talking about that and what they're going to do to make sure that you get that, you might as well keep listening to Jesus. Because you're just a sucker. You are the problem in our group. If you can't look in that mirror and say, yeah, I used to listen to Jesus. Because I did. I used to listen to him. I don't know more. Because I know more. And I always tell people, without a shadow of a doubt, if you ain't growing mentally, you standing still physically. And I don't care. Understand when I say, if you ain't growing mentally, you standing still physically. Meaning, if you ain't, the things you used to do, if you ain't critiquing those things, because no way possible they have led to a collective uplift, to you being better, to your financial problems getting better, you need to be dropping those things. And you need to find out how you can fight for this debt that, without a shadow of a doubt, you are owed. And the thing is, you are owed it, and nobody talking about it. You are listening to people that want to talk about everything else. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of talking heads out there talking about everything but this money you need. They telling you to donate to them. They telling you they talking about good shit. Yet they ain't saying what they are doing to move that line forward so that your debt get paid. I challenge everybody out there listening to me tonight. Cut off anybody that ain't got a plan that get that debt paid, that helps you pay your bills, that builds a future for your kids. Get away from all these people that want to just talk about history. Because history ain't no damn good if you ain't gonna connect the dots to how you make the future better. Knowing history ain't no good if you ain't gonna connect the dots to how you make the future better. So stop letting people grift right in your face because they tell you, oh, what I do, I tell black history. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, I don't do no political work now, but I do tell black history. And a lot of the people telling you they telling black history, they stand in the way of black people getting justice, but claiming they tell black history. And until we can understand these people's a problem, we got to get rid of them. We got to go in spaces where these people are and ask specific questions. This conversation you have, will it make it possible for ADOS people to pay their bills, to send their kids to college, to put them in a position of ownership in the country they built? Is this conversation is a plan to do that? And when you ask them that question and they don't come back and say, that's exactly what my plan is, you say, well, present it to me. And that plan ain't based in that, shut them down. Say, man, you done. I don't want to listen to you no more. Because you don't have a solution that betters the future. You just want to hide behind the line that you refuse to cross. And when I say refuse to cross, they find places where they can discuss things that don't offend nobody, that they never have to hold pressure on nobody, that leads to change for you. Now, William Dickens is going to put pressure on things that bring forth change for you, him, his kids, his group, the collective. And so is Yvette Cornell and Antonio Moore and the ADOS Advocacy Foundation. This is what people are putting their volunteer time in to do. To bring change you can feel right in your house. Ain't nobody trying to sit around and keep talking to you about history. I don't care if you know somebody's name from the 1400s. Can you take that name and connect to my justice claim that I'm owed right here in America where I can pay my bills? If you can't do that with that name, keep that name for yourself. We got to get on code with what must happen for the collective. And we must stump out the BS. We must stump out the BS. We must stop beating our head in conversations that don't lead for collective uplift, that don't lead to a financial. Because we need it. Everything in this country is going up. And people are finding it 20 times as hard to keep up. Because white people are living off inheritance, while ADOS people are living off income. And unfortunately, income ain't keeping up with the rise in rent, the rise in taxes, the rise in mortgage. It ain't keeping up. So how do this group that built this nation get their just dues if you don't hold everybody accountable to be in the fight with you? And I suggest you hold everybody accountable. You make them come to this table, and if they don't have a plan, you knock them off the table. Point blank, period. You knock them off the table. You should definitely check out at Breaking Brown, at Tone Talk YouTube channel. They do shows, and these people have made me what I have become. They answered my why, and I never take that from them. I don't care what these other people that splintered off from their conversation, their knowledge that they gave, and try to grift and start their own thing. Know that they got it from these two people. If you go back 10 years ago, you won't hear nobody talking like these people are talking now. And if you go back on them, you'll see that they were still talking the same way. So know that they birthed all this conversation, and people don't want to give them the credit because people want to take this and try to hustle it too. They want to take this and try to hustle it too. See, because I told you our group is stuck on hustling. Our group don't really understand the collective uplift because our group really don't understand economic inclusion. The only way to perform economic inclusion is you got to have a group. If you go do for self and you destroy your group, you won't never practice economic inclusion because you won't have a group to practice it with. Understand white people ain't practicing economic inclusion with ADOS people. What they are practicing is the eraser of ADOS people. And they doing it with any weapon they can use. If it takes our women, ADOS women, and lift them while denying ADOS men so that it gives that man no voice in his household, they'll do that. If it's locking us up, if it's making us homeless, it's a war going on. And it's time for us to see it for what it is. It's time for you to make your mind up whether you're going to be in this war or not. It's time for you to, and I keep saying it, stop listening to folk that ain't talking about how they're going to make it possible for you to pay your bills next month. To make it possible for you to pay your bills next month. To make it where you can keep up with the rise in tides. To make you can keep up with this inflation that's happening. Higher than it's ever been is at 6.2. Is at 6.2. Anybody knew that? See, if you listen to people that ain't telling you that, if you listening to people that's telling you to just go online and do a job, I got an online job you can do. Just do this online job. It's gonna fix everything. But you ain't advocating for me for policy changes. You ain't advocating for me through reparations. And yet you mock our leaders, the heroes like King. You tell us don't listen to Boris Watkins, yet you try to do the same thing Boris Watkins do. You try to sell me a business package too, but one of your own. Understand, man, how do a person tell you a person is a con artist because they trying to sell you a business package? And that same person is telling you about that person is mimicking the same thing that person doing. I'm just saying, you got to be able to see people for who they are. You got to be able to see them. And you got to call them out. As I said, ask them, how is this information you giving me? And I ain't talking about you telling me to go do an online job. I ain't talking about you telling me to go buy Bitcoin. I'm talking about what are you doing? Because you got to know that white people are where they are through government, not through Bitcoin, not through no online job, not through entrepreneurship, but government. Government. Stop letting these people hustle you. Government has propped up white society for 400 plus years. Government propped them up. It won't no hustling going on. It was government and policies. Stop letting these black-faced people lead you the wrong way. Like I said, ask them the question, how does information you give me help me pay my bills? How do it help me build generational wealth? And I don't want to hear a Bitcoin when white people didn't have Bitcoin. They got it now because it's a resting place for their wealth. It's a resting place for their wealth that they can't get taxed for. And if you're doing Bitcoin and don't understand that, what these black faces telling you then? Why they ain't telling you that? here we go, right? What Johnny said. They have 8 streams of income, still worthless. Why you need 8 streams of income and neither one builds well? Sad. This hustling got you chasing your tail. I think the hustling got you chasing your tail. And you just don't know enough to know it. That's a fact, especially with all of the data, historically content that points to the government. All this information. We're in the information era where I can connect the dots through slavery right up to current time, how white folks got their money. And it won't from none of this junk that most of these black people talking to other ADOS people about. It won't through none of it. Now they trying history current policy. That's, hey man, hey, if you don't know it's a hustle, I can use it on you. But if you figure out it's a hustle, I can't use it on you. That's why ADOS is a problem. Because ADOS is telling you who hustling. Many believe that ADOS public figures don't need to be held accountable. Man, this is so true. This is so true. How do we live in a society where we a plundered group, tethered to the bottom, yet we don't want no accountability on politicians because they supposed to be ADOS black? Understand when we say you need to hold everybody accountable, whether they look like you or not. Accountability is the format that where you say, what are you doing to better my life? And if I come to you with policies that will better my life and you don't push them, who you? You can't be nobody because you ain't here for the collective. You here for your own personal gain. And I can't sit back and allow it. And that's how all of us must get. Our pastors, if you go to church out there, I don't do church. I'm saying, but you may do church. If you do church, your pastor got to be held accountable for the collective uplift. Meaning your pastor got to be advocating for your reparations, because that's justice. And understand, justice is mentioned more times in the Bible than God. I say it again. Justice is mentioned more times in the Bible than God. And if you got a pastor that ain't talking about justice for you, your pastor is a problem. And you're going to have to hold your pastor accountable for being a problem. Yeah, definitely a troll in the chat. The troll even learned something tonight. Because he ain't going to stop me from dropping the fire. He ain't going to stop me from dropping this fire. We, in our justice claim, we always got them in real time. Our fight is severe. Accountability is, and we must know everybody's feet got to be held to the fire in our justice claim. Kimberly is very right. We got to hold everybody accountable. Nobody can go. If I can use my small platform to advocate, and you got pastors that own mega churches that sit in seats on boards that's not advocating for the collective, that's a problem. That's a problem. And knowing that's a problem is on us as individuals to hold them accountable. It's on us as individuals. In the midst of that crowd that don't understand that conversation, to stand up and speak out. Yeah, we might get pushed to the side because we might be the only person in the crowd to understand this person is a piece of crap. But know that we may wake up one other person when we do. when we make that sacrifice. And to me, that one other person that we wake up is enough to stand up. I'll say it again. That one other person that we wake up is enough to stand up. When I do my shows, I don't care if I wake up one individual to think and see in a different way. That was one individual that didn't understand it. And that individual may reach millions with the understanding that we must fight for collective. I appreciate everybody for joining in tonight. I hate we had a hiccup in the thing, but it's all good. We got back on. I even know why I lost the sound too now, cause I had Bluetooth on, and whenever girl put her headphones in, the Bluetooth must went over to it. So it's all good. We humans and imperfect, but it don't mean you can't fight. Mistakes allowed in a fight. There's no perfect human. The key is that we strive to better ourselves, to be the critical thinkers that's going to be needed in this critical war that we are in. And nobody's asking you to be perfect. They asking you to put on the line for collective uplift in whatever way you can, on whatever front you can. Stand up for your group. Never shy away from the conversation against nobody. And with that being said, I'm gonna end the show, and I'm glad everybody joined in. And as always, stay strong, stay focused, keep the line moving forward.